Hey everybody, Dave here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Shadows of Brimstone, Swamps of Death. And in this episode we are going to close out our session. If you recall, our three heroes failed their mission going into the Swamps of Death, and we ended up resolving the events of that at the end of the last video. And so what we need to do now is we will resolve some other things that happen at the end of the adventure, and then we will go ahead and go on to our town stay, because we're going to be actually doing a campaign over the months. We'll be rejoining these characters in different Shadows of Brimstone scenarios and seeing them level up as we go along and seeing what happens to our wonderful characters. We have Branson the cowboy on the left, we have Juva the Jargono native in the center, and we have Ezra the prospector on the right. So what we happens at the end of the adventure, the first thing is we recover because they are KO'd. And I believe I did roll on the injury and madness charts, and we have, unfortunately, we've got some banged up characters. So we have Branson has, he is -1, I forgot what the heck it was. He had, he's -1 of something. And then we have Ezra has a mangled hand, and Juva has a mangled hand, as well as I think she had a broken arm. I have some stats written down. I'll have to go back and look at those. But anyways, we are going to have to try to get them healed up. We fully healed all of their sanity and their health as part of you do at the end of the adventure. And then also we had removed any status markers from their boards and stuff like that. We can take a look at the boards down here. We'll actually pan down and we'll look at the cowboy. Unfortunately, he's still sitting on some corruption. We resolved the failure results when they fell into the murky waters, and we lost some items. Now, I did read in the rules, and fortunately, the heritage charm that Juva lost, she will be able to regain this for free. It does not have a monetary value, and it's part of her class, so she gets a replacement for free. I read that in the rules, so she will actually be getting this back at the start of the next adventure. And then we reset all of our hero ability tokens, and we also have their grit back to 1. So the next thing that we're going to need to do is roll for corruption. So let me go ahead and get our dice tray out, and we will go ahead and roll for that. Okay, so this is pretty much going to affect Juva when we're going to roll for Darkstone corruption. And so at the end of the adventure, each hero must roll a d6 for every Darkstone they are currently carrying, including items with a Darkstone icon. Well, if we look at her stuff, she actually has her Darkstone blade, she has the Darkstone club, and she also has a Darkstone shard. So she has 3 things that she's going to have to roll for corruption. So hopefully this is not going to be too bad for her. But on a roll of 1, 2, or 3, she will actually take 1 corruption hit. So I am going to roll for this. So we've got 3 d6s. We'll go ahead and chuck those in there. And, jeez. We have a 1, a 2, and a 3. So she's actually got 3 corruption hits. However, she can make willpower saves against these. So we will go ahead and roll for those. Her willpower is a 4+. And so we will go ahead and take care of that right now. Let's see what we roll here. We have a 4 and a 6. So she's only going to take 1 corruption hit. So I will put a corruption marker on her on her board, and she will have that as we go into the town stay. None of our other characters have any Darkstone on them, so they're not going to have to roll for the any kind of corruption. All right, now that we've resolved the corruption and everything that we've done at the end of our adventure, what we're going to do now is go to town. And first step is to prepare to travel. And so we will have to roll a D6 for each hero to see if they encounter a travel hazard. Now, this is where the cowboy himself is going to be useful, and unfortunately I didn't really benefit from his ability during the game. I totally forgot this. At the start of each turn or day in town, if you have no grit, recover 1 grit on the D6 roll of 4+. I should have done that, and I did not. However, I'm going to be remembering that in the future. But more importantly, this Happy Trails. Once per travel, I may spend 1 grit to cancel a travel hazard on the D6 roll of 3+ before any tests are made for that travel hazard. So, going to find out if we're going to have travel hazards and then what they are going to be. So, we will roll a D6 for each hero. So let me go ahead and move this out of the way, and I will bring this front and center. So we need to do this individually to see who is going to cause a travel hazard. So this is going to happen on a 1 or 2. So we'll start off with Juva, and Juva rolled a 1, so we will have a travel hazard for her. We will go with Branson. Branson has a 4, so no travel hazard there. And Ezra the Prospector has rolled a 2, so we will have a travel hazard for him as well. Okay, now that we've decided we have 2 travel hazards, we need to consult this travel hazard chart, and this is found in the adventure book. In the Swamps of Death, it's on page 56. And what we're going to do is determine what the travel hazards are by rolling 3d6 and having all of the results added together. So we will go ahead and roll for Juva's travel hazard, rolling 3d6. And we have a total of 14, so hopefully it won't be so bad. 14. We have a gulch ambush. Traveling through a dusty gulch, you get a bad feeling, but it's too late. Feathered arrows whiz past your head as a savage group of Black Fang tribe Indians descend from the cliff tops, hungry for dark stone. Each hero must make an agility 5+ or lore 5+ test. If passed, gain 25 XP, and you're able to evade the worst of the attack, escaping into the hills to meet up with the rest of the posse. If failed, you are knocked to the ground as the Black Fangs scavenge your belongings for Darkstone. Lose D3 Darkstone or 1 item with a Darkstone icon. Also, due to your bumps and bruises, you lose all grit. Let's see. Well, Juva has a lore of 1, and she has an agility of 4. That's actually pretty good. The cowboy has a lore of 3 and an agility of 2, and the prospector has a lore of 3 and an agility of 1. So I think they're going to go ahead and we're going to consult. We're going to see what happens on this travel hazard. We're going to roll for that. All right, let's go ahead and bring in our tray, and we will do an agility roll for Juva. So she's got an agility of 4, so she's going to roll 4 dice, looking for a 5+. And, good, we have a couple of 5s. So she is successful, and she will gain 25 XP. I will remember that. Then we will have Branson is going to do a lore roll, and he has a lore of 3, so we're going to be rolling 3d6, looking for 5+. And unfortunately, he is not he's going to have something happen. He's going to end up losing his grit because he doesn't have any Darkstone items. So he will go ahead and lose that grit, but we should be able to hopefully get that back. And finally, Ezra, he is going to do a lore check. Also, he has a lore of 3, looking for 5+, and he also fails, and so he is going to lose a grit as well. So that was the first of the travel hazards. Now we have to do the second one, the one that Ezra has generated. So we'll go ahead and consult our travel hazard chart again, rolling 3d6. And we have a 1, a 2, and a 3, so that's a total of 6. Here we go. We have the flash flood. As you travel through the canyons, the skies open up with rain, causing a flash flood directly in your path. Each hero must make a luck 4+ test to avoid being swept away by the rushing waters. If failed, roll a d6 for each token in your side bag. On the roll of 1, 2, or 3, it is swept away in the torrent of water. Okay, well, let's see. A couple of our characters do have side bags with some items in there. So let's start off with, so we have to do a luck 4+. So our luck over for Juva, she has a luck of 2. So she rolls a 3 and a 6. She is successfully avoiding being swept away with the waters. Luck for Branson the cowboy is 2. Also looking for 4+. And he rolls a 5 and a 3. That's successful. And luck for Ezra the prospector is a 3. Looking for 4+. And he is successful. So we have been able to navigate through the flash flood. Those are the travel hazards that we have encountered. And we have now moved on to where we will arrive at the town. Okay, so we have the town board set up, and it has a bunch of different locations, and as we set it up, we're going to place our posse marker on the 1 down here for the days since last event. So as we take a look at the town board, there are different locations that we can visit to do different things. I know for a fact that our characters are going to want to go to the doctor's office to try to heal injuries or mutations. We have the blacksmith where we can forge Darkstone, we can buy horses. We have the general store where we can buy equipment and clothes and different tokens. We can go to the church where we can heal our madness or kind of cure corruption. I think that's Branson needs to go to church. We can go to the frontier outpost where we can sell Darkstone, we can train with soldiers, get bounties. We can go to the saloon for some entertainment. We can buy whiskey tokens. And also we have places that we can stay. We either can choose to stay in the hotel for $10, or we can choose to stay outside in the camp, which is a lot more risky. We're not sitting on a whole lot of gold to be able to do things, and we're going to need money to go through town. So I'm not really sure, I really don't want to have any more bad things happening to them, so I think we will have to make a decision as to where we're going to stay, and all 3 of them will choose to stay in the hotel. So that's going to cost them all $10 each, so that's going to put Juva down to 40, and Ezra has 40, and Branson has 190 gold. So once we decide that we've done that, that's going to basically save us from being able to have having to roll on an additional chart. But anyways, now what's going to happen is each of our characters is going to make a decision as to where they are going to visit, and we'll take care of those things as we come across them, and you'll see how the visits go. Okay, so how this works is we can, each hero can choose 1 location per day in town. So I think we're going to go ahead and distribute this, and then we'll go ahead and activate all of our characters. But Branson is going to go to the church to try to heal some of his corruption. cure corruption, and these other two guys are going to go up to the doctor's office and see if we can perhaps get them taken care of. So now that we've done that, what we need to do is see if there is what kind of location events are going to be taking place, and those are going to be, we'll be consulting different charts for those events. Okay, we're going to start off with Juva up at the doctor's office. So we actually have two characters that are up there, so let's see what the location events are for the day. So we have a chart for the doctor's office, and we're going to roll 2d6, and we're going to see what happens there. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this, and we will consult the chart. So we have to roll 2d6 per character, so we'll roll first for Juva, and she rolls a 6, which is 6 to 8, the smell of death. All the familiar at the doc's office, no event. Okay, so nothing good, bad, or otherwise there. And for Ezra, we'll go ahead and roll for that. He has a 4. Lovely. Dirty tools. The doc is using dirty tools for operating in stinks of liquor. That's not good. All attempts at surgery made today are -1 to the roll on the chart, minimum of 0. We were going to try to have surgery done. This is, oh gosh, may not be good, so we will see what happens. And then down at the church, let me get the church chart to see what happens there. So we'll look at this one for the church, see what kind of events we have there. We're rolling for Branson, and we rolled a 10. So a gift of blessing down here. Recognized as a champion of light, the preacher bestows a blessing upon you. Choose any blessed aura from the church to gain for free. And so these would be on the back. And so once we get to that, we will go ahead and take a look at that when we get there. So, anyways, so we're going to go with Juva, and she doesn't really have she doesn't have any money to go to the doctor's office. She doesn't really have anything to sell. Actually, what she should have done was she should have gone to the Frontier Outpost, because she has Darkstone that she could have sold. But she decided she was going to go there, thinking maybe there was going to be some sort of free medical attention. She's not familiar with doctors. But let's go ahead and move on over to Ezra while he is there. Now, one of the things that we can do to give is you can sell items at any point in town for their cash value. And Ezra is going to sell this Book of the Mad King. He's not really looking to take more corruption hits than he already has. So he's going to sell this for 725 gold. So that is gone. He now has a nice windfall of cash, 725 extra gold. So that's going to put him up at, let's see, 725. That's 765. I don't think that he has anything that's owned. I don't know if it's selling things or whatever. Okay, that is not, he did not, his expert miner thing does not affect by that. So while he is there, though, despite the dirty tools, he is going to attempt a surgery. Now the cost of surgery is D6 times 50. So let's see how much the surgery is going to cost him. The surgery is only going to cost him $50. So we'll go ahead and spend the $50. See what $50 is going to get him. That puts him down to 715 gold. So we will roll on the chart, the D6 roll, to see what happens to his thing. Now remember, we are -1 of our rolls for the dirty tools, so we're hoping that we roll high. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any grit. He rolls a 3, which is down to a 2. It's failed. And the injury/mutation is not healed, and the doc refunds half your money for the failed attempt. So he gets $25 back. So he's up to 740 gold, and unfortunately they weren't able to heal him. So those guys are done with their things. Let's go down to Branson. Now, at the start of his turn, or he can try to recover a grit on a roll, a d6 roll of 4+. He rolled a 2, so he does not have any grit. Now, let's go over to the church, and so he is going to have, he's going to be able to choose one of these blessed auras. So let's take a look at what that is going to entail. We've got 4 of them to choose from. So we have this, we have the Aura of Endurance. So it's Blessed Aura, shield limit 1 Blessed Aura at a time. Make a Spirit 4+ test to successfully receive this aura. If successful, for the next adventure you gain armor 5+. We have an Aura of Wrath. This will allow you to, once during your next adventure, you can add d6 damage to a single hit. That's pretty good. We have Armor of Fortitude, which will give him Spirit Armor, or Aura of Protection, which would give him Armor 6+, Spirit Armor 6+. I think what we'll try to do, since we're getting it for free, let's go for the Armor 6+, that Aura of Protection. I'm not so worried about being able to do damage. But let's see it. And so he's going to make a Spirit 4+ test. His Spirit is 1, so he's going, hopefully will roll pretty well to see what happens. We'll bring this down here. And we rolled a 2. So unfortunately, even though he was given an aura, he was not able to receive it. So that event is resolved. However, now we need to try to cure some of this corruption. So they have a ritual, and it will cost him $100, and it will remove d6 minus 2 corruption points from my hero. So we're going to spend $100. So that puts Branson down to 90. And we'll see. Hopefully he can roll high. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any grit to re-roll. But if he ends up if he doesn't lose any corruption, then he's going to end up taking some sanity damage. Let's see what happens, though. So we rolled a 1, and 1 minus 2 is he's going to take d6 sanity damage, ignoring willpower. So he's going to take 4 sanity damage just from that. So just like that, we thought it'd be like nice in town, and these guys are not having very good luck, so now he's taking 4 sanity damage on top of that. So very first day, very unsuccessful in our town stay. Let's see what we're going to do. We are going to have to roll to see if there is a town event. So to see how to resolve if there is going to be a town event, we would consult this town event chart. And it says frontier towns are already a dangerous place to visit, but those that lay within the shadow of Brimstone and its surrounding demonically overrun countryside can be downright deadly. At the start of a town stay, the heroes must place the darkness marker on the day 1 spot of the town event track, which we did up there. Now, at the end of each day, the hero posse must roll a single d6. If the roll is higher than the current position of the darkness marker, the day ends without incident, and we move it up by 1. If not, if it's less than or equal to, then there is going to be an event. So let's see. We keep rolling low. So we have to roll above a 1. And we rolled a 2. So successful, yes. So now this will advance up to 2. And the next thing we have to do is decide, are they going to stay in town or are they going to stay out at the camp? Unfortunately, I think, well, let's see. Juva's going to decide to stay at the campsite, and these 2 guys are going to stay in the hotel. They've got the money. Juva wants to doesn't really like this town, and she's kind of feeling that maybe if she stays outside of town in the campsite and kind of be a little bit more by herself, maybe she will have a better time at this. So Ezra is down to 730 gold. He's spending the 10, and Branson is down to 80. Let's see what happens now when we choose to have at the campsite. Alright, at the frontier town down here, we have the campsite hazard chart, so we will roll through there and see what happens. So we're going to roll 2d6, and we will see what we roll. We rolled a 2. That's probably the worst thing that could happen. Hired cutthroat. Oh, actually 2, I'm sorry. We have a demon attack. Outside the relative safety of the town border, the campsite is exposed to the elements and to attack from all manner of unsavory creatures. During the night, a swarm of demonic hellbats and stranglers rampage through the camp, killing with wanton brutality. Make an agility 5+ or cunning 5+ test to escape into the night. If successful, I gain 50 XP, but I must flee the town and their stay is over. If failed, you take wounds, ignoring defense. If KO'd, you're carried off by the demons, never to be seen again. If not KO'd, gain 2d6 times 10 XP for surviving the blood-soaked night. Okay. Alright. So we have to do this agility or cunning roll. And thankfully, Juva has an agility of 4+. And so she's going to roll 4 dice. And she needs to roll a 5+. Otherwise, something's bad's going to really happen. Alright, she rolls, at least she's got 1 success there, so we have survived the demonic attack. So she is going to get 50 XP, but she has to flee the town. So she is actually now out of the town, and she will not be able to make any more visits. Although if there are any other town events, she will not be affected by them either. Okay, so next day we're going to go ahead and each of them are going to go back. I think that this time they're going to go back to the church, and they're going to go back to the actually he is not going to do something. I think he might go over to the saloon, the Cowboy. He's kind of feeling maybe he can make some money over there. I'm not really sure. So we will go ahead and deal with those events. So the first thing that we need to do is take care of our events for each location. So since Branson is a higher initiative, we will go ahead and do the saloon event first to see what happens there. So we'll go ahead and roll 2d6 and see what is going to be resolved there. We rolled a 12. All right. So we have Hero of the People. You're riding high tonight. Great luck at the poker table, and all the locals have recognized you as a true hero, cheering you on for your efforts to clean up the West. All your gambling winnings are doubled during this location visit, and the locals buy you a few drinks. Gain 2 whiskey tokens. All right. Well, that's always good. Have some extra whiskey to help out during the adventure. So we'll go ahead and get those tokens and put those on the board. And if he decides to gamble, then all of his winnings are going to be doubled. It might actually be worth it for him to try to gamble, gain some money, and be able to go back and get some of those corruption lost. So there's the whiskey that's there. All right, and then up at the doctor's office, let's see what happens up there, what kind of event we have at the location there. We rolled a 3. Plague tent. The doc has his hands full as a demonic plague is spread through the town. Make a luck 5+ test. If failed, you contract the plague, gain D3 corruption points, ignoring willpower, and you are reduced to max grit of 1 during the next adventure. Oh, and that is wonderful. Let's see. He has a luck, though, of 3. So we're looking at a 5+. He needs to roll. Whoops. Dropped the die on the floor. And we failed. So, that's bad. So now we've contracted the plague. And he is going to gain, let's see how many corruption points he's going to gain. D3. So he's going to gain 2 corruption. That puts him up to 4 corruption as well. This has not been a very, very good stay for these guys, and it's just making things worse for these guys. They're supposed to go to the town. This is probably not a great town for them to be visiting. So we've got 2 corruption tokens. We'll put those on his board right over there. All right. So when we go back over to Branson for his activation, we can look and see what he would like to do. And we have some things here where we can gamble. And let's see here. We have casual poker. What is his cunning? He's got a cunning of 3. So it says casual poker. Limit once per visit. Make a cunning 5+ test. If successful, gain $50 for every 5+ rolled. If failed, you lose after several hands and leave with nothing to show for it. There's Brimstone Craps for 100. We don't have that. And then we have the Saloon Girl Performance. Let's see. We have Performer Heroes. Is he a performer? The Cowboy is a showman. Okay, he's not a performer. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do this casual poker thing. So he's going to spend $50. So that's going to put him down to, he's going to have $30 left. And hopefully he can roll some 5s or 6s to be able to make some money. So let's see what happens here. We'll bring the die out. So he has a cunning of 3. So let's see what happens. Okay, cool. We have a 6. So we're going to get $50. That's going to be doubled from the event. So he's got $100. So he just made $100 back. So that puts him up to 130. This is at least enough for him to possibly go and try to get some of his corruption healed. So he's done that. And we'll go over to Ezra over at the doctor's office, and we'll see what happens. So he has his hands full, fortunately. And he's only has max grit of 1 during the next adventure. That's lovely. So let's see if we can try to have him. I'm going to try to go for surgery. Let's see what happens now this time. He doesn't have the dirty tools, so must have cleaned them. But let's see how much the surgery is going to cost this time. It's going to cost, he rolled a 6, so that's going to cost him $300 for surgery this time. We're going to pay it. He's down to 430. Let's see what happens when we roll on the D6 chart. Hopefully we can roll high. I'd like to have another 6. That'd be great. 4, 5, or 6, please. Whoop, we rolled. We have a 3. And so it's failed again, and he's got half of his money coming back to him for his troubles. So he'll at least get 150 back. So he's at 580 gold. This has not been a very, very good stay. I think that we may decide that we're not going to stay too much longer here. But we now have to make a posse roll to see what happens at the end of the day. See if there's a town event or not. And we rolled a 2. So when we look over on the town event, if the roll is less than or equal to the current position of the darkness marker on the track, something bad has happened in town. Roll 2d6 on the town event chart, as normal charts may not be re-rolled with grit. When a town event occurs, set the darkness marker back to day 1. So, let's see what happens. It's just... you thought the regular adventure was bad. This poor town stay is even worse. So let's see. We rolled an 8. Spreading fear. Fear spreads through the town as the days grow dark and the demonic attacks more frequent. One random town location closes up shop and may not be visited for the rest of this town state. Roll a d6 to determine which location the campsite dissipates, may no longer be used, and the hotel doubles their current rate. Okay. Well, let's see. Which one's going to be closed? We just roll a d6 and we will see which one is going to close, and probably be the doctor's office too. Oh, we rolled a 2. So the blacksmith will be closed, and the hotel is going to double their rate, and the campsite is gone. So, and we go back down to 1. And these guys are going to just make a decision to leave. They're not going to stay there. Their attempt to try to heal themselves up has been unsuccessful. Juva had to flee town. So, unfortunately, what does that leave us with? Well, that still leaves us with our characters that have, Juva has a mangled hand and she has a broken collarbone. I believe that's what we had. And Ezra has a mangled hand. And Branson, I believe, had a slashed leg. So none of them were able to get healed up. Like I said, though, the Juva will get back her heritage charm at the start of the next adventure. But unfortunately, we're already at a disadvantage here, as Branson has taken 4 sanity damage while he was in town. But he did get some whiskey. All right, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. At least you got a chance to see the town stay, where our characters are at. Just over time, we're going to be continuing on a campaign with various adventures with these guys so that we can see what happens when it's time for them to be able to advance in their levels. And just to give you an idea of where we are, I've been keeping track of stuff on a piece of paper. Juva has 320 XP, Ezra has 260 XP, and Branson has 290 experience points as well. So we're on our way towards being able to advance, but I hope that you guys have enjoyed this particular playthrough and now this extended town stay. And we'll be bringing more Shadows of Brimstone adventures to you guys in the future. All right, leave any comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys about what you thought of this. This poor town, just a really, really bad place for these guys. It just kind of sucked for them. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you again soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.